Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of National Board Conversations. The school year is wrapping up and so is this season of the podcast. Coming up, we get to speak with Joe Evans, a National Board certified teacher in Maryland with a fascinating story. He's a champion of the National Board process and loves to recruit and encourage educators to go through the National Board process. I won't hold you much longer. Here's my conversation with Joe Evans. Joe Evans, thank you for joining me on the podcast. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. Appreciate you having me.
Of course, man. We've tried to connect for a little bit, but so it's good we're finally getting able to connect. So we're going to get right into it. What is your current role? And can you give us a brief intro of yourself? Then I got a few questions to kind of personalize you a little bit. I like to try to humanize y'all.
Good enough.
Humanize teachers.
Presently, I'm at a small rural high school on the Eastern Shore of Maryland. My duties right now, I'm an AP biology, general biology, and forensic science teacher. Basically the same thing in the fall, but I also had a physics class back then. So I have to wear a lot of different hats teaching-wise, and I'm also the chair of our very small science department.
Oh, man, nice. So what are your three favorite foods?
This is a tough one, but I'm going to go very simple here with crunchy peanut butter.
Okay.
Really like dark chocolate. I really like dark chocolate, and I'm a big fan of strawberries.
Okay, nice. My sister's from Louisiana, and they have like a strawberry festival down there every year where everything is made of strawberry. And like she tells me to come down there every year because it's supposed to be really, really big. So I'm trying to get down there for it.
All right.
All right. So the last three songs on your musical playlist.
I listen to a little Sirius XM. I don't really have a playlist, but I grew up listening to the Rolling Stones and U2 and some other classic rock bands. And I'm more of a podcast, informational kind of listening guy, but a little music once in a while is nice.
Okay, what podcast are you listening to?
Oh my goodness, a lot of them are sort of running related because I do a lot of distance running, so I'm always listening to things about different training philosophies and ideas, and I listen to Neil deGrasse Tyson. I listen to a lot of science sort of podcasts as well.
Okay, nice. So the one sport team that has your heart, and if you're not a sports fan, a movie you can recite line for line.
Well, sports-wise, I'm kind of torn between my Baltimore Orioles and my University of Maryland Terps.
Oh, man. The Orioles are pretty good this year.
They're rocking this year.
You're expecting big things for them?
I'd like to see them win the entire American League and maybe make it to the World Series. We'll see how their pitching holds up.
You going to get out to a game if they make it?
No, I'll definitely make it.
Okay. So who is your favorite fictional teacher?
I'm not going to go with a fictional teacher, if you don't mind. I really admired Jaime Escalante out in Los Angeles, who taught AP Calculus to some kids that otherwise people had given up on, and they made a fantastic movie about him called Stand and Deliver, that he really set a high bar and had some students reach that. So it was a phenomenal movie.
Okay. So, can you share why you became an educator and remain in education?
It's a long story, but I'm a career changer. My original major in college was animal science, and I worked with racehorses.
Whoa.
And I worked on a very large horse breeding farm, and I got a little turned around with that, and I decided to become a blacksmith. And I had a shop in the back of my truck, and I would nail shoes on horses' feet. But in the winter, horses' feet grow a little slower. I wasn't making enough money. So I said, I think I'll substitute teach, pick up a little extra money. And I found out I liked teaching a whole heck of a lot better than I did working with 1,200-pound animals.
Oh, man, like, that's got to be crazy. That's, like, terrifying. They can, like, kick you or something. Like, oh.
I've been kicked. I've been stepped on. I've been bitten. It's rough work. And also, be honest with you, I wasn't that good at it.
Hey, man, but we got you here. You're in the classroom. You're in NBCT, so we love to see it. So what were you like as a student, and how did that influence your teaching style now?
I thought about this a lot. I was an average student. I kind of kept my head down and tried not to be called on too often. I don't feel like I excelled at much of anything at high school. I got by. College, it was a little bit the same thing, but man, it was a little bit rougher. It was tougher. And by the time I got to be a junior, I kind of figured things out and really buckled down and started to do much, much, much better. And I'm still taking classes, even though I'm in my 60s. I'm working on a second master's degree in straight up biology, and I just love learning now.
All right. And so How long have you been teaching now?
28 years. I'm finishing up my 28th year.
Man, that's wild. And so you're now national board certified. What pushed you to pursue?
So, I'm like I said, I'm in a rural area. You get feedback from an administrator coming in to watch you, and I always felt there was like a little bit more excellence I could kind of reach for. Am I really doing a good job? And I had heard and read about national boards, and I thought this looks like something I could give a try. And I read about it and I thought, let me give this a shot. And I'll be perfectly honest, I put a lot of work into it. I videotaped myself and watched hours of myself. I submitted my portfolio. A few months later, I get this really nice letter back. Thank you for trying. We're sorry you weren't successful.
Man.
And that just kind of motivated me. And I reread everything and I thought, they're right. This stuff really wasn't that good. What can I do a little bit better? And I redid the portions that I was not proficient in and did far, far better on the second submission and achieved national board certification. And since then, I've also done the maintenance of certification a couple years back.
So what was the motivation for you to try again after you didn't achieve the first time?
Oh, I don't like failing at anything. I mean, I saw it as a challenge and I thought they gave me really good feedback. This part of a lesson was not good. This could have been much better. And you see that when you videotape yourself and when you really stop and reflect, you see how much better you could have done. And to this day, I still don't think I've ever taught what I would call a perfect lesson, but we get close.
Nice. So what was the most helpful piece of advice you received along the way?
I was kind of a lone wolf doing this. Nobody else in the county in my district was pursuing it at the time. So I felt like I was kind of going about it just all by myself. I bought a few books. Um, I didn't really correspond with anybody. I think I had a couple teachers here, proofread some entries for me and give me a little feedback. But really, I don't think I got I think today there would be a lot better support systems in place, but I really didn't have that.
So how would you build out support systems for rural teachers? Because that's something that's seems to can get lost in sometimes when it comes to building our resources, forgetting about rural teachers.
Well, I in my own district, we're making a big push to get more people to get into national board certification. So we have some cohorts of people starting to go through the process, and that will be great. People will be able to meet with each other, give each other feedback, watch each other's videos, and those sorts of things. So I think that momentum is starting to build, and that problem will end up taking care of itself.
Oh, nice. So how did becoming an NBCT impact your career?
I think the biggest part of it was a confidence builder. Failing it and then actually achieving it made me think, this is pretty good. I'm in a smaller group now, and I really started reaching out for some other opportunities, and I became a AP exam reader. I latched on to a national educational organization that makes a lot of resources for biology teachers and became a teacher ambassador for them. So I've been very fortunate. I give PD workshops at national and state conventions. And it's just really, I think, helped open up a whole lot of doors for me.
That's awesome. Okay, so now it's time to get into a little bit of teacher recruitment. If you had to sell the education profession to someone looking to get into it in 1 to 2 minutes, what would you use as your elevator pitch?
This is a tough pitch because a lot of people are looking negatively at education now. But to me, it's been an incredibly rewarding career. And I cannot tell you how many young people have kept in contact with me in college and even beyond. I get random emails that just brighten up my day. Hi, Mr. Evans. I just wanted to let you know I landed a job at XYZ. Or, hi, Mr. Evans. I just finished my first semester at college. I got straight A's and I took all of your advice about study habits. Those things are just very, very, very meaningful to me as an educator. And I think a lot of people could feel those same emotions if they get into it and establish the relationships with the students.
I love that. I love that. So on the podcast, we have a feature called the shoulder tap. is when you give a tap to a colleague on the shoulder and let them know they're ready to become National Board Certified. On here, you're going to give them a quick shout out and we'll encourage them to go through the process all over social media. So, Joe Evans, who are you shoulder tapping today?
So Mrs. Karen Saunders, she works upstairs from me. I can sometimes hear her students moving the desks around in their classroom. And she has started her pursuit of National Board Certification, but I really want to encourage her to finish it and get that portfolio submitted.
Okay, awesome. Karen Saunders, you up next. We getting you on National Board. We getting you National Board Certified. Joe Evans, thank you for joining me on the podcast.
I appreciate you having me.
Joe was a fun person to talk to, and I want to thank him for taking the time to chat with me. And I want to thank you for listening to this episode of National Board Conversation. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to them. And we'll see you next time.